unfortunate exit from the tournament, but a team that did show up, and the undisputed best team in Group C, however, was SKT, who are on the way towards reclaiming their throne. First in the group, only one loss. What do we think about SKT right now?
I think they look great. Yes, they did have a tough game against Fnatic, but besides that, the other 5 performances I think were very impressive. And one of the big worries people had coming in was about Khan, who has really been stepping up, who has been performing well at this event. And so much of these games have been decided by jungle mid 2v2,
yes.
which Clit and Faker, it's just so hard to bet against them against any team in the event.
What the replays have showed me, what the games, especially against RNG, has showed me is that this is a different SKT and an LCK team. Because they're not just a smart team pre-20 that gets to the late game and goes up against an LPL team and then starts to blunder. What they are, and what showcased, you know, for me here today, is that they're a fantastic team fighting team that even when you have outplay moments here from Uzi and all that, can still have great performances off the back of Teddy.
And let's bring up that tournament favorites discussion, because I feel like you had G2 who has been knocked down a big peg after those games versus Griffin. Griffin had those fantastic games and that perfect day, but then not the first half. FK perfect day, but then not the first half. SKT rather seems like the most complete team to call a favorite so far.
I think you nailed it, right? We talked about FPX, about G2, about SKT as kind of the big 3 coming to this event. The teams that would be challenging for the finals. Even if you're now adding Griffin into the bag there, they have never performed well against SKT. And I think that SKT had the most impressive group stage of any of those big teams we expected to be challengers.
And what I'm thankful for is that there is no such thing as a perfect team, and the fact that they ended up losing to Fnatic, and what was a great Fnatic draft and execution in their composition showcases to me what we get into the quarterfinals. SKT is still going to be a great team. Sure, but with the right amount of prep, you can still get the job done against them.
It seems like, yeah, SKT is the team you absolutely don't want to draw, and Griffin probably up there as well. We'll see if someone emerges as a very strong contender today, because it's time for Group D to fight for the quarterfinals with Damwon, TL, and IG all tied in first, all and 2 in 1. That is a distinctly different atmosphere going into this group than the ones we've seen previously.
It's wild. I was waiting for this group the most, because out of all 3 teams, I know even AHQ, that conversation is going to have to happen. But Damwon, IG, and Team Liquid, I have no idea who's going to be coming out in first seed, or even who's going to be essentially leaving the tournament early.
Yeah, Damwon, I think, looking at them, they have been, you know, a very exciting team, focusing on the top side of the map. These solo laners, Candy and their jungler have all been performing very, very well. But their bottom lane, which was supposed to be this big weakness for them, has really not been getting exploited that heavily.
Yeah, and I think people forget that while they think of this team as great young talents, sure, very talented players individually, but we saw from the first round robin, very young, have those moments of errors, especially when they went up against Team Liquid.
I am very curious to see what Damwon brings today. Their counterparts from the LCK have both gotten that #1 seed, and we have to remember, Damwon went through the play-ins, had that kind of warm-up and practice and finding the vibe on the Rift. Then they had last week, now they had another week to reset. So I feel we're gonna see the strongest and the real Damwon here.
And they really needed to have that time throughout the entire tournament, because I've always nailed on the idea of nervousness for young players on that stage. I think we saw that from Showmaker, and we saw that from Nuggery. And now when we're coming into today's game, they are the most prepared team in this group.
Let's see what happens. Now, yesterday, Raz, you had to say goodbye to RNG, who you actually had pegged as your tournament favorite. Are you ready to put all your stock in IG?
See, I'm a rich man, so at least now I can put stocks in a few other teams. Exactly. I agree. Buy them all. Invictus Gaming, they are still the reigning world champions. They still have some insane players individually. And so we already saw great moments from the Shy, from Rookie. And that was really the story for me, was taking a closer look at Rookie as a player, because it was a tough split for them. In the summer split, they had some down moments, and it was specifically Rookie who as a player needed that time on the field. He got that time. He looked devilish. He actually looked so damn good going up against both Jensen and Showmaker. I want to see what he can do today.
I think when the solo laners are performing this well, you talk to pros, they are terrified of going up against the Rookie, against Shy. These guys have been so damn good.
Yes.
And it really makes you start to think back to last year's World, where they kind of had this aura of invincibility. Anytime you have 2 players performing that well, I think IG is the tournament favorite.
Yeah, also last year, they even stumbled at the end of the group stage, right? But they became such a monster as the tournament went on in the semifinals and the finals. finals especially. They are the reigning world champions. The other team we need to talk about in this group, the third #1 so far, is Team Liquid. And to start off the conversation, I want to catch back on to last time we saw Team Liquid when they earned a hard-fought victory against AHQ, and hear what Doublelift had to say.
Precision and grace.
Now, round 1 is done. You're 2-1. What are your expectations for round 2?
If we play like that, we're gonna go 0-3 with the NA curse. But like, honestly, like I think we're capable of playing like a lot better. It's really crazy. Like I just can't believe how bad we're playing that game. I think the way that our team works is on our best day we can beat anyone, and on our worst day we can like literally lose anyone. And like I think that game we really deserve to lose it. Like we were doing everything we could to lose it, and we're really frustrated with ourselves for sure. So, and after this interview, I'm gonna go back and get spanked by the coaches. So we are definitely gonna play a lot better in week 2. That's the goal.
Well, he was very reflective, and that's the Doublelift we've kind of come to love and expect at these tournaments.
Totally.
This candid in interviews.
People love it because everyone was watching that game thinking, what is this garbage? TL? This is looking terrible. Then Doublelift's going to come out. He's going to tell you the truth. He's going to give you his honest opinion. And I think that makes fans feel confident that they not only recognize it, but also that they can fix their issues.
And I do want to take a decent amount of time to talk about Team Liquid, as they are NA's last hope. And you could have said before the tournament already, perhaps their best hope is that Azale.
This has been a build-up over the last couple years for TL. First, they achieved regional dominance. Then coming into this year, adding Core JJ, adding Jensen, some of these missing pieces where they weren't always able to compete, especially in the mid lane internationally. We saw that pay dividends at MSI, them getting out of groups the first time for Doublelift, making an international final, and they're looking to build on that.
Absolutely, and I think it's maybe easy to discard, well, they didn't win the final and what happened there, but I don't think that's fair when you look at the project that Team Liquid has been building up. The fact that they've been dominating LCS for so long, and that was their best international result ever, including knocking out the reigning world champions. And I think this is how we need to look at this Team Liquid in this day of the group stage. They need to step up today and prove how strong they can be internationally.
Yeah, because look at these moments. At MSI, I looked at Impact and said, my God, he's really good. Like, individually, in lanes, he's had some great moments, and team fights, it's been the same case. So for Team Liquid as an organization, when they get to these points in international events this year, they look better and better to the points that you have been making. I think at this tournament, my eyes have been on Jensen reliably, because while you're right, the pieces to the puzzle have been Jensen and Core JJ. For the first round robin, that hasn't been the case for Jensen. That he has had moments, especially when they went up against AHQ with his Orianna play.
And we need to have step-ups from Jensen against the likes of Rookie, because if you make a mistake against this guy, he will punish you so damn hard. In the game against IG, a TP bottom lane with the wave at his turret essentially snowballed into being down 20, 30 CS, being down a level. Rookie can take that mistake and end the game with it.
Yeah, we see all similar things from other teams, you know, who have, or players who don't have the best days when they start, but then come back reinvigorated. And so much matters of how you do on the day. Azale, we saw 3 games from Team Liquid already, including a very successful one versus Dom1. How do you think overall they performed in that first round robin, and what do you expect?
I think overall they performed well against IG as well as Dom1. The AHQ game I was not impressed with, but I think especially Impact and Xmithy, you have got to be proud of how these guys played. Impact was such a difference maker against Dom1. This solo kill essentially blew the game open for TL, got them the Baron, and Xmithy, despite even having bad jungle matchups, being up against Olaf, being your mid laner pushed in, he was actually getting more done against IG, and really, really impressed me.
Where do you want to see improvement?
I want to see improvement from the mid lane. We talked about Jensen, not always stepping up. He had a fantastic LeBlanc game. This was a big highlight, but the other two certainly left something to be desired. And when you're going to play kind of open book League of Legends, everyone knows what TL will do. Yeah. You don't get to make a lot of mistakes because you're not throwing a curveball. You're not surprising anyone. They're not going to flex pick. They're going to play towards bot lane. Everyone's going to be prepared for it. So you have to out-execute your opponents.
Do you think there's a chance that something else comes in here? Because we've said that from TR for a long time, and it works more often than not. But do you think in this group you do need to take another risk?
So I think we could get individual champions changing, but the style will not, right? Maybe you get a Caitlyn, maybe you get some sort of counter pick in the mid lane, but it's going to be play towards bot lane. It's going to be play around team fight for Doublelift, or I would be shocked.
And that shouldn't change about this team, because what's going to make them strong in this group is the fact that they are a one-trick warhorse. Like, they are a team that comes in and they're so damn strong of being able to get their teams, the post 20-minute structures. They can play around double lift and core JJ. They can play well around the team fights. If they have vision, you can't break them. Going up against young talents and going up against, in IG's sense, like coin flip players in a few of them. I think that is a strength that Team Liquid should rely on.
Should rely on, but however, in Group D, Jensen and his lane... Jensen, I did it again! I'm not gonna do it again. Jensen and his lane opponents could be the deciding factor for a mid lane check-in of Jensen. Here's Freak, Chat, and Spawn.
Yet.
Thank you very much, Jocks. Welcome to the caster desk.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
I was going to say Jocks, but yours is better.
Thank you, yes. Either way, welcome, of course, to the caster desk. Yeah, the mid laners have been very interesting here. Of course, Rookie is a name every player should know. Rookie, probably the best mid laner in the world. Last year has had a bit of a slower run so far. This year, Showmaker, arguably the best mid laner of the LCK. Jensen, no doubt the best in the LCS. Some of these players have had a slower start, though, at Worlds this year.
Yeah, Rookie has been back closer to his 2018 form. You look at the laning phase he had against Jensen in the IG versus TL game. You look at the fact that he's been able to make big plays in these fights. I mean, this game was actually incredibly close before this fight. The Shy does the beginning zone, but the thing that actually wins the fight is the patience on that shockwave. And this was the culmination of a dominating game by Rookie, where he not only won the laning phase, but he roamed bottom and got a lot of big plays done.
And I think the thing about Rookie is that he will play these control-style scaling mages in such a lane-dominant fashion, and it allows the freedom for his jungler to be able to go for greedier paths, pick up more CS than you would necessarily expect. On the flip side of the map, though, I do want to also mention just how good the mid laners this guy is performing against, because it's always one of those interesting things coming into an international tournament. Are you a world-class player, or are you playing in a weakened pool? In this mid-lane pool, I feel like Showmaker as well as Jensen have shown in these games that they can also throw their punch.
Yeah, I mean, I even look across, you look at the Damwon team, and they have 3 of the top 5 accounts in the US, so Canyon, Showmaker, and Nagari. So Showmaker also showing up big, and all the way across to Jensen, his week 1 was not that good.
Yep.
But if we look at the run that Cloud9 made last year to the semifinals, up until the semifinals, Jensen was actually the one pulling a lot of that weight. So for TL to succeed, I think Jensen's going to step up, needs to step up to get that form back.
We'll see if they can do it. Of course, it's going to be a very excited group. We decided all today. Rookie and IG kicked things off with a battle against AHQ. So let's hear more about that matchup.
IG did conquer the world in 2018. They're back to defend their title. I feel they flown under the radar as far as that possible, because a lot of those FPX teams garnered a lot of attention in the beginning. But the world champion seems to be primed and evolving towards, or being in a good spot to take another Summer's.
I agree, and I think that for me, the spotlight on Invictus Gaming, the reigning world champions, was, well, Summer Split was pretty rough for them. It was only after Rift Rivals that they had the 5 players that went to World Finals, that picked up that cup, that were at MSI. So when they finally had the time to play and work alongside each other, you know, my focus was on the Shy and being able to see great stuff coming out of Rookie. But today we're going to be seeing a new face.
Yeah, a big point here is, of course, that IG, after that shock of MSI, it wasn't all that smooth in summer.
Yes.
And for the playoffs, after some underperformances from Ning, Leon actually played all those games, which is why it's quite the shock that Ning is on stage right now.
So Leon was a good reason for why they were here at Worlds to begin with, because that level of consistency is something that they direly needed. Getting past the gauntlet run and everything. But what Ning showcases, remember, he is the world's finals MVP, is that he has such a damn high ceiling as a player, and throughout the year in the LPL, he just won a lot of MVP for games and all that. So in his best of 3, he can give you solo carry performances, or he could be the main reason why you lose games. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what level of performance we're going to be seeing from Ning tonight.
He's high risk, high reward, and that's why I think it's a little bit curious that they're taking out the more stable player in this best of 1 type of series and putting in Ning, who could get you a big win or could cost you the game single-handedly. It kind of speaks a little bit to the fact that they perhaps think they need something more coming out of the jungle, and they want that early aggression.
I will always have the faith in Ning as a player individually. I know what he could do. We've seen him consistently and what he could do when he performs at that level. difficult. It's more so the pressure, right?
Yeah.
Putting him under pressure, what can we get out of him? And I think we'll see great things here tonight.
We'll see how he performs based on what we've seen of IG so far. What do we expect from them, and how much should they be feared?
I think they should be feared a lot. You know, my pre-tournament expectations were somewhat weighed down by the fact that Rookie, when he came back to the lineup in summer, he was having some shocking performances. He was not up to par, but we have seen the Shy dominant in groups, Rookie dominant in groups, and Jackie Love actually was a rock for them throughout that summer split. So if these guys are all firing, if they can get it all together at once, that's a World Championship caliber team.
That's what made, you know, expectations, pre-tournament expectations for this team really weird for a lot of people. You either had Invictus Gaming coming out as first seed, or you just didn't think that they were going to be getting out of groups at all. Because at the end of the day, if they come at 2018 performance at Worlds, then they could very possibly have 3 of the best players in one team in one tournament, and I think that says a lot.
How do we feel about Jackie Love, who was a very, very big point in last year's World Championship run for them, but I don't think has had the best performances so far.
He hasn't had the best performances, I think, in the first 3 games, but over the last year, I've seen such growth from Jackie Love. When you look back to last year, he was really high highs, he was really low lows. When you think back to 2018 summer playoffs against RNG, solo costing them some of these games, I didn't see that in the LPL from Jackie Love in 2019. He looked like a rock, and I do expect him to get back to that level because he has shown me so much consistency this year.
Yes, throughout the year, he has been the player for this team, and even coming into this tournament, it was a big kind of juggle of who was the best AD carries so far in the LPL between Uzi and Jackie Love, and that says a lot.
And this IG is so interesting to me because you know they are world champions. Ning is back in the mix. We also know that from Worlds last year, that Happy Games meme, that is where that started rolling, so to say. But then after MSI, they had to take a step back because, of course, they got flamed so hard for not winning versus Team Liquid. So I think they're going to bring a new seriousness to the second day in the group stage. And they're up versus AHQ in their first game. And AHQ is also a hard one to read because the 0-3 scoreline does not tell the whole story for me.
Yeah, I think AHQ, we've already seen the games that they had versus Team Liquid, and honestly, this is a very close group that we've seen just based off the games alone. They're the most well-rounded LMS team coming into the tournament. Ziv has been strong, but my eyes focus solely on Rainbow and Alex. I've seen Alex play. He was in the LPL with FPX in 2018. He is a great early game jungler, and he got the job done early versus Jensen in that game.
Also against IG last time around, we actually saw them combine to get Rainbow a couple of early kills on the Akali. They did actually have a gold lead post 20 minutes. So this is a team that can make a splash in the group, and as much as people are counting them out, hey, maybe they're not going to get it out of the group, but if you lose to them, maybe you aren't either.
Yeah, I think when we talk about miracle runs, it is possible. We saw it just yesterday. 0-3 is very hard, but I'm not going to count anyone out after what we've seen in the group stage so far. And as AHQ is also the last LMS representative, we also know what's on the horizon for the region. So hopefully they can pick up some wins and bring glory to the LMS on this last day.
Yeah, it's a new chapter. I love stories like these just simply because we already saw what J-Team was able to do based off the level of Boko's performance. So it's nice to be able to see the talent that's coming up, rising up. And for me, when I look at AHQ, it's certainly going to be Rainbow and Alex.
Yeah, is that how they win it? Is that their only win condition for this game versus IG?
It's not their only win condition. Their bottom lane has been a very strong form for them in the LMS itself, so we might be able to see Ysera. I think he's a great support. Be able to have great impact in roaming towards the mid lane.
Yeah, Ysera and Waco, I think, we're probably the best laning duo in the LMS, so this is a team that can get their bottom lane going and win through that. But I think they really need to focus on their mid and late game. That is where they struggled in the first 3 games. You don't get to make mistakes against some of these other squads and come out with a team fight victory because all of them are absolutely immaculate in team fights.
If we look at IG as a possible tournament favorite at the end of the day, Azale, what do you want to see from them in the games they play?
I think to call them a tournament favorite, to put them even above SKT, you need to have absolute domination, right? You need to have them coming through and smashing 3 straight games, getting out first in their group. But but we know they can have high highs. We know they can have low lows. So they're always going to be a threat no matter what, as long as they get to the quarterfinals.
I need discipline. I've seen too many games where they have leads and then, you know, the Shy will walk off in one direction, he'll start the fight, hope that people are right behind him, and that wasn't the case. So I need to see the team all on the same page today.
Okay, let's see what happens. AHQ versus IG will be our first game of the day, and today we conclude the group stage here in Berlin and decide the last teams in the quarterfinals. It's been a ride so far, so let's see what's in store for us.
멀리서 보면 되게 뭔가 쉽지도 않기도 하면서도 되게 잘 나가고 있는 것 같아요.
The best showing that we have seen from AHQ and a team that can perform to this level.
Man, last year we were one game away from making out a group. I don't feel as handy as I did in past worlds, but it's like, oh, I'm so bogged down. Like, oh, we need to get lucky to win. I feel good. I feel confident.
This time he pulls it off with the quadra kill.
I think I'm a strong player. I think my team is strong. It's time for my team to make it out of groups.
Welcome back. We are live and almost ready to go into the first game of the day. We are closing out the group stage. The last two teams will join the quarterfinals. And up first, we've got a team against the ropes in AHQ 0-3. A loss means their tournament life is over versus Invictus Gaming, the reigning world champion, an expected favorite here.
And we've been talking about it the entirety of this group stage. It only takes one play, one moment for either of these teams to be able to turn around. We've already seen a couple of teams go 3-0 on their days in this group. AHQ would be hoping for a miracle and a continued messy group. But for someone like IG, they really need to start performing at that caliber that we know they can if they want to re-establish themselves as a tournament favorite.
Absolutely, and I feel like coming into the previous 3 days, we've at least known one team that everyone was pretty sure was going to get up. FPX, G2, and SKT. All those teams ended up moving on. Today, I can't say for sure that any of the teams is good enough because of the 2-2-1 we have at the start of this group. So every game's going to matter, even the ones against AHQ, because when you're this close in a group, dropping a game to AHQ could be the difference to getting through the group.
Yeah, it absolutely could, which makes the substitution of being the coin flip jungle player coming into this Invictus Gaming lineup all that more confusing, because you already beat them with Leon, Mr. Consistent, the person that got you to Worlds when you did bench Ning in the first place. This is a risk for Invictus Gaming fans. They obviously want to reach a height, but that is the danger of going with a player like Ning.
And we were talking about this earlier. Is Ning being subbed in a good sign for IG or a bad sign for IG? Because he didn't play with them in their regional qualifier. He didn't play with them in Week 1. And they went 2-1 with Leon. Even if Leon looked like a fight, Spawn and I have slightly different. My opinion was it's probably a good thing because they did go 2-1, and I don't think they would make a substitution unless it makes them better. But Spawn, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, when I have a look at this, I think that AHQ probably the weakest team in this group.
Yes.
Ning is a player that if he's in form, will be a positive. Play him now. Check that form. It is going to be a lot of the games played on the same day today. So just have that stat check at the start. If he's good, keep playing him. If not, go back to the consistent rookie.
So you're just like tune-up game. You're saying, hey, you know, is Ning back on form? Of course, this was the starter when they won the World Championship, right? This is the starting five that was the best team in the world. So look, if he's back on form, if we're ready to go, that's our lineup. Let's do it again.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that he will be in better form now that Rookie is playing well. It is so much easy to play jungle when your mid laner is smashing people, and if Rookie's able to guarantee that shove, we know that Ning is a skirmish-heavy, invade style, getting into jungler. That should help him out.
And we also have to remember the first time these two teams played each other, AHQ had about 2,000 gold in the top 15 minutes of the game. So they actually played a very solid early game. It was only in the mid-late game that they ended up faltering. So IG can't take it for granted.
It was the closest game that ended before 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It looked like it was so close until it was over when IG took that last team fight. Let's see if AHQ can run it back, give us another good game.
Well, Champion Select has begun. Of course, teams switching sides. We know Pantheon is 100% ban rate in the group stage. It's got to be banned. First round rights hit every time. So Red Team does get slightly stymied in pick ban, having that sort of required ban, but otherwise a lot can be left up.
It's also been over 5 days since these teams have played on stage. They're likely not scrimming against each other. They've been scrimming against the other groups. So I expect different picks coming out this round robin than we did in the first.
What's more, this was the very first game these teams played at Worlds. This one and the one tomorrow were the first games these teams played. So there is a week and a half of learning to prep, re-prep Champ Select, watching the VOD, and see what else everyone else is doing to show us the different game here.
And that's always happy a day. We've seen in previous worlds that if you come in and you play an off-meta pick, you don't have the exact read, maybe you have a certain scrim group that's going one way. I mean, Kale seems to be that pick this world, but it can blow up in your face. And the LPL teams are real famous for having these really terrible reads on the meta. So I hope that this isn't one of those times.
Well, early Gragas comes through, definitely has been a premier jungler here at Worlds so far. The Jace rookie had a phenomenal set of Jace games last week.
Yeah, one of the only teams in the world that still has that Jace as a legitimate flex pick, being able to pick it up in the mid and top lane. I think the rookie on Jace also is incredibly aggressive. However, can look to punish it, so I already like the jungle pick here for Alex. See whether he can catch Rookie off guard, because he has been very aggressive.
Gragas is something that IG used to get most of their mid-game initiation the first time they played. Looking across at the jungle Olaf as well, seems like a fairly IG-specific pick at this World Championship is now not only that they not played it, it's what being locked in.
Be exciting. Kai'Sa Nautilus down to the bottom lane, and I am curious when Invictus grabs some magic damage of Vladimir as a top laner, and then some bans to make the matchup look easier. Could be the case. No, it's going to be Xayah locked in, so physical mid. Could be top. Keep in mind the Shy, of course, can play it, but physical jungler, physical bot lane, gonna see some magic damage somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that when you have a look at the LPL as a region, Xayah was 100% priority, just banned all the time when these guys were playing in playoffs. They certainly still seem to favor it over the potential mixed damage that you can get out of a Kai'Sa, just because in team fights, the safety and self-reliance of Xayah is incredibly high. Jackie Love, certainly a player that was very consistent throughout LPL summer, needs to put in a good performance on one of his signature picks.
I also don't mind it as the final pick of the first phase, because it kind of forces that Rakan ban when they're still likely looking to counterpick their final top laner with Shy. So one real top lane champ you're going to be able to ban. Looking at the bans, we might just end up seeing it versus that matchup, and that's why AHQ ended up going for Vladimir.
Of course, AHQ's go-to blind top laner is Rumble, played it twice so far already.
Yeah, I really like this actually, because Invictus Gaming wouldn't want to blind pick the GP because they'd be all physical damage. So AHQ is probably likely to get the GP onto Zib, and they've already removed one of the counter picks in Vladimir.
Yeah, but then the Ryze is available, and we've seen Ryze be a very good matchup. The Shy certainly a good Ryze player in his own right.
They could take both right here if they wanted to.
Well, hovering over some of the options right now, they do need both solo lanes. Nautilus goes somewhere a bit unorthodox. Victor
there it is.
Locked in for number 1.
I think that's the first victory we've seen at Worlds.
GP.
I think Mammoth's mid laner's triple might have played it. I don't know for sure.
It was, someone asked me this the other day, and they said, do you think Victor's going to be seeing played? I think at some point, but it's not going to be very likely. I would have preferred to see a Ryze here, but I can understand maybe if Rainbow had come.
And both of them fill a similar role, I think, in this composition. If the Shy goes towards an AD champion or rookie in the same vein, then it could be that hybrid take victor that we see. However, there is going to be some balance given to this comp. Orianna, the rookie, has so far been a very good pick.
Very strong his second Orianna game. Of course, won the last one he played it around, and we'll see now We're not going to see any more swaps. That Ori's mid, that Victor staying where it is, and everything else. This is going to be the most standard bottom laners here. Xayah versus Kai'Sa, no surprises. The Victor, a rare sight. Gragas, you know, of course we expect to see him, but Ning on the Olaf. That's the real trump card here. That's going to be the spicy part. Ning back in the lineup for the first time since August. Can he pull out to win here?
Yeah, that actually is the first Victor. I just got confirmation. That's the 93rd unique pick or ban we've had since the World Championship started.
Yeah, it certainly has been a wide open World Championship in terms of what is being played, but I want to focus in on IG's comp because we keep mentioning the Olaf, and Olaf with pushing lanes is one of the most oppressive junglers. Jason to Gangplank is a good matchup for the Jays. You should be able to get shoved against Victor. He kind of sucks before the first purchase. And then when you have a look at the range support into Melee, this could be Ning's field day in his return to Summoner's Rift.
And I think they're trying to set him up for success. If we look at IG's early game in week 1, or even in the summer split, it was subpar. And that's completely different than the world champion IG we saw in 2018. So it looks like they're trying to return to that form.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Tournament lives are on the line. AHQ, the last remaining squad in the LMS, up against elimination. 0-4 is not a start that can make it to the quarterfinals anymore. They must pick up this win. Invictus Gaming back to their old starting jungler in Ning. They benched him ever since their first round defeat in the LPL playoffs. They put him back in, say today he's going to bring us to victory.
And as we do enter a pause, I do just want to draw people's attention to the top lane keystone, because